question, we will begin with Steve Farley. What is the relevance of a passage of the Equal Rights Amendment to women's rights in Arizona? What role will you play as governor in getting the ERA passed in Arizona?
Well, thank you. The Equal Rights Amendment should have been passed in the 19th century. It should have been passed in the 20th century. And it sure as heck should be passed in the 21st century.
Yeah.
And that's why last year, as there was a renewed push to be able to get ERA approved across the states, that I was proud to work with Katie Hobbs, my leader in the Senate, well, I'm the assistant leader, to force a vote on the floor of the Senate. And we got that, we forced the vote on the floor, and sadly, it went down on party lines. So what it's going to take to be able to support and get approved an ERA here in Arizona, so that we can finally make up the wage gap between men and women, which is real. As the father of two daughters, I'm seeing my daughters going out there. My oldest daughter graduated from college last year, and she is struggling in the workforce, trying to get paid the same as men with the equivalent education, equivalent experience. That cannot happen. That should not happen, and it must not happen, and it must be unconstitutional. So the way that we do that is we're going to have to get different people in the legislature. Because sometimes you can't change people's minds, you got to change their bodies at the ballot box. And that's what's going to happen right here. Well, it's deeply sad that the women in the Arizona Senate and the Arizona House were not willing to support a constitutional amendment that would give them equal rights with the men in the Arizona House and the Arizona Senate, just because they were Republicans. Well, it's deeply sad. We need to change who they are and who's representing us. And I think anybody who believes in equality for genders needs to vote accordingly in November. And that's how we'll change it. And I will be doing everything I can as governor of the bully pulpit to make sure that that vote goes the right way in 2019.
First off, I need to thank all the women out there for basically holding our country together since 2016 November. It is women who have been marching and organizing amazing marches. It is women who have been organizing. When there's an indivisible group, chances are it's a woman leading that group. It's women that have been coming together to change, to keep our country together. So thank you very much for everything you've done. It is time for us to step up, however. And let me tell you, as a human being, I don't see how you're against not passing the Equal Rights Amendment. As a father, and here's what my daughter says. My daughter says I'm girl trapped. You know what it means to be girl trapped? She says in school, when a boy has to sit between two girls, they say he's girl trapped. And I'm girl trapped. I have two daughters, I have two sisters. My dog is a female. I am committed to making sure that all of them that I love have equal pay. The Equal Rights Amendment is important to push it. But what's the ultimate situation here is equal pay for equal work. Pay equity, that's what's most important. And making sure you're pushing for pay equity. The idea here, if you stop and think about this, if we keep moving at this pace, this slow pace, we are not going to have equal pay for women until 2059. And it's going to be even longer for women of color. And so how we have to get past that is to make sure that we do have starting salaries that are equal for women, because it's there that this starts to compound. And making sure that women have equal qualifications, equal jobs are getting paid equal amounts. As governor, there's a number of things that you can do. Number one, you can push for legislation that does push the Equal Rights Amendment, but also looks for pay equity as well. You can also look toward making sure that the leadership and in your administration are led by women, which is very important. And lastly, make sure that we are encouraging women-owned businesses to have an opportunity in Arizona with public dollars. So thank you.
Well, I told you that you'd hear a lot of similar themes, and I agree with Dave. Women have been holding the country together since November of 2016. Yes. So, as governor of Arizona, we will pass the ERA in this state. And if, for some reason, that's not happening, there's going to be a picture of me with tape over my mouth on every front page of every newspaper in this country. because I'll be standing right there beside the protesters, moving that forward. I have to tell you something. As the CEO of the YWCA, I help thousands of women every year get their lives where they want to go. They come for all kinds of help. They come because they want training so they can get a promotion. They come because they want workforce education so they can get a job. They come because they want help starting a small business or finding capital to get their business growing. They come because they've just come out of a domestic abuse situation and they need help and support. They come because they need clothes for a job interview. I'll tell you, there's one thing I've never heard anybody ask for. No woman has ever come to the YW and said, I need a law to make me equal. They know they already are. Here's what they really need. They need childcare subsidies. They need to have college be affordable and debt-free in this state. They need good workforce training. They need good paying living wage jobs. They need early childhood education for their kids and full-day kindergarten. When I'm the governor of Arizona, we aren't just going to pass the ERA. We're going to make gender and racial equity and human rights the lens through which we pass every law, implement every policy in this state.
Woo!